If I was doing a radio show, I'd be concerned about the sound quality, but I did that for 25 years, and I've decided now that I'm doing this podcast for nothing, I don't care.
I'm that way when I'm at home, like when I get off of work.
So,
I don't care. I'm late all the time. I just don't care. When I'm late coming to work all the time.
My tagline for the show is that, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so there you go. So we're here with Jim Eaton, and we're actually sitting on the electric shuttle, one of two electric shuttles that's here in Carpinteria. And Jim just took his last ride around Carpinteria, and took us to the secret bus base, and stashed the bus in the secret bus base, which I'm divulged to not disclose our location, and it's
good. You have that blindfold on, right?
It's good to see you, Jim. How you doing?
All right, good to see you too.
All right. Well, listen. Well, thanks for spending some time with us here. So, Jim, tell me, you've been driving the shuttle here in Carpinteria for how long?
Since we started it in, I believe it was 1999, I believe, when we started doing it. Councilman Weinberg, I believe, was the one that initially started this. And I've been driving it off and on. And then I was driving it for, 5 or 6 years, and then somebody with more seniority than me bumped me off of it. And then I was away for about 10 years. And then now I'm back driving it again. I'd only drive it every once in a while. And now somebody bumped me again. So
is this like the sweet spot rather than driving a regular bus on a regular route? I mean, are these electric shuttles like a sweet thing to have, or do the guys that drive the full size buses kind of like laugh at you and look down at you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're the special kids ride the small bus. The special drivers drive the small buses. But
seems to me, I'm not a bus driver, but it seems to me I would want a shuttle.
Yeah, I enjoy driving them, but it's kind of interesting as people either love driving them or they hate driving them.
Really?
Yeah, and then I love driving them. Like the State Street Shuttle, like most drivers, or a cruise ship comes to town, and I get excited.
Right.
And the other drivers think I'm nuts because I look forward to having a whole, because they're new people I can tell jokes to that haven't heard my jokes when I'm driving the bus.
It seems to me like you have, and I don't really know for sure, but it seems to me like you'd have more interaction with the people who are riding on the shuttle than the people who are riding in a regular bus.
Yeah, you do get a lot more because the people are closer to you. Like our new buses that we have that we're coming out with, the driver's seat is further away from the passenger's compartment, and so there's less interaction.
It's not a social.
It's not really a social bus.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the first job is not crashing the bus, I guess. So
you would be surprised at the paperwork involved in that. And I'm a horrible speller. If I was a better speller and closer to retirement, I wouldn't really care. I just go hog wild.
So they're going to bump you off this ride again for a while, and hope. Do you want to come back?
Yeah, I'll come back when the summer, when that guy, because he'll get sick of it, because I'm really super. I try to be really nice to everybody, and a lot of drivers aren't that way. And what they'll do is they'll get upset with all the people that are expecting the driver to like kind of. Be patient,
right.
So pay when you're getting off the bus,
right.
Stuff like that. Which,
right.
And I look at it being a bus driver as being a public servant, and kind of like that's more, we're here to move people from one side of town to the other, and be friendly to people. And then I like it. I think it too is like when you get the children on the bus. I think it's not really our job, but I think sending those kids off the bus with a positive attitude is going to help our whole community later on for being better citizens, and they're going to be, and they're going to school like, hey, this guy's concerned that he's wanting me to learn something,
right,
and I think that really is good for the future of the community, having kids that are smart.
Well, that's a good attitude to have, I think, especially for anybody who's working with a community. I mean, it can be kind of tough because not every client is a ray of sunshine. Not every day, not every time. But if you can kind of let that slide off your back a little bit, the jobs where you're interacting with a lot of people, with the public, I think that it's really important to try to engage them in a positive manner, because we all wind up kind of going through our day and having mixed interactions with people, some positive, some negative, and the more positive there is, just the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, the more definitely, and also in fact, there was a thing I remember. I worked for Greyhound for a long time, and they told us in our customer service, when they were training us in customer service, that London had some sort of an experience where Harrods department store was having, they were gauging their employees' output by having grouchy bus drivers taking them to work and having happy bus drivers taking them to work. And evidently they were noticing that this one particular guy that was taking they would have like one guy that was in a bad mood all the time.
Yeah.
And all the employees were but they performed better when they had the jovial person.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense, because you're more productive when you're in a generally good mood, and when you're surrounded by people who are negative, it's hard to stay in that headspace where you're in a good mood.
Oh yeah, I get that, and it's kind of fascinating. And then I was reading, I don't know if this is me, but because I went to Aliso. When we moved here, I went to Aliso Elementary School for when we first moved here, and for like half a year, and when I read that the Aliso was doing really good in the I don't want to take credit for this,
Yeah.
but when the kids go into Aliso, I always say, and what's the best elementary school in Carpinteria? And then they go, Aliso.
Right. Well, yeah, very cool. Very cool. And how long have you been driving a bus of some sort?
Since the 1980s.
Just the 1980s.
I started with the 84 Olympics, actually, was when I first started driving a bus.
Wow.
And was taking athletes around. And then and I've been off and on. And then I got a job I moved to Los Angeles. I had this job delivering photo finishing products to camera stores.
Back when people actually printed their photos.
Yeah, back when they and then that's amazing, because there was this place in Goleta called Mission Country Photo.
I remember them.
Yeah, and we had like probably 150, 200 people working there. There was a bunch of people working there. And I went to all these camera stores there's very few of them left. They're all gone now. And there was like hundreds of camera stores.
It's so sad. I just think of all those empty photomat huts.
Yeah. And then all those, I mean, there was hundreds of people. And we had we had two different accounts that did the millions of dollars a year. This one, the Studio City Camera and Harrington's Camera Corner, this place in Brentwood called Harrington's Camera Corner, and they did, at least it was in the millions of a year, and it was in Brentwood, and it was just little tiny, and all they did was develop people's pictures.
Wow. Yeah. And then you can never tell what's going to change. Something changes that doesn't seem to be related at all, and then suddenly you're out of business.
Yeah.
It's like the digital cameras came out, and then cameras got on phones, and then the phone put the camera business out of business. And who would have thought that?
Yeah, it's just it's insane.
Well, it's
and you kind of wonder what's going to do the phones in now.
Well, and maybe you'll drill something right in your head, and you'll be connected, and you won't need a phone anymore. Yeah,
until that, and then and then until they it's kind of scary, actually.
Well, for now we need bus drivers. Eventually, I suppose they'll probably automate those.
I think they will eventually, but there's still there's still quite a bit of stuff that machines, we can't predict I don't know.
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about having a positive effect on your society. When you interact with a machine, it might get you to where you're going to, but it doesn't give you that good positive feeling that we're talking about having, where you engage the next person in your day in a positive manner because the last person engaged you in a positive manner.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, listen.
But they are actually hiring bus drivers too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in fact, they can't keep, like, I've had to work my days off for the last, I've only had like maybe 6 days off the whole year, because they're short. For some reason, people can't deal with a lot of people have a really hard time with the mentally ill people and trying to keep on a schedule.
Yeah.
But I don't care about the schedule. I just go, and but yeah, the people that are worried about staying on a on time,
right?
And then they can't have interactions with people. They leave really quick.
Yeah, I can imagine that, because sorry, but you got to be a little flexible sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're on a schedule. That's on. You got to be on time. It's like it's got to be tough if you're worried about being late all the time.
Yeah, if you're worried, you won't be in the. And then I feel bad though, because you get people that are worried about being late because they're worried about being late for work, and I'm honestly concerned about them. Yeah. I want them not to get in trouble at work, But then I say, for my own sanity, I can't be worried about that.
Well, and then that's actually a good attitude to have. I've certainly taken the bus to work, many times myself, and the thing is that you have to allot the fact that the bus may not be on time when you kind of figure out when you're going to go into work. And if you're trying to cut it close and you're on the bus, sorry, dude, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you when you're late for work.
Yeah, well, I do, but you want to get a little bit early.
Well, yeah, of course you do, but at the same time, stuff happens and you don't have any control over. And there might be an accident somewhere or whatever, you never know. Just allot yourself enough time to get there.
Yeah, also for people that live in Carpinteria, there's a couple of things, like if you are on the Amtrak, if you show us your Amtrak ticket, you can actually ride on our buses for free.
Oh, that's good to know, actually. Yeah.
And then also, like if you live in other parts of Carpinteria that aren't serviced by our cute little trolley, if you can actually ask for a transfer, and you can transfer to the Carpinteria trolley from the line 20.
Oh, right. Yeah, like in Santa Barbara, if you're on the bus, you can get a transfer, and then you can get on the shuttle, and you can do that here in town.
In Santa Barbara,
you can't do that.
I thought you could do that. You can switch to another bus.
Right.
But you can't because of the shuttle that goes up and down State Street.
Oh.
The funding for that is actually it's a separate funding.
Oh, because I thought they used to do that years ago, but that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was, maybe they did. It was free for a while.
Okay. Well, of course, it was free for a while, and then they had to start to charge a nickel or whatever to keep the bums off.
Yeah, the people were riding around, but which is a really good deal for people in Carpinteria you can do that here, where you can't in Santa Barbara, because the actual shuttle that is on the State Street, and it's funded through as far as I know, it's funded through the Downtown Merchants Association. So, and that's why it's a 50-cent fare there. Where here we're funded through the city of Carpinteria and the Measure D sales tax.
Oh, okay.
That's where the funding comes from this, so that's why it's transfers are able to come from.
Okay, and it's 2 bits instead of 50 cents then.
It's 50 cents but that bus, the line 20, is actually
$1.75 or whatever, yeah.
And then you pay $1.75 on this bus, or 85 cents if you're a senior over 62.
Right.
We can issue you a transfer to ride on the 20.
Okay. Well, right on. Well, it's a great way to get around, and it's a lot of fun. And if you're local and you've never, like, I've taken the shuttle before, but I've only taken it like one way or whatever. I've never actually taken it around the entire loop at one time, and I did just before we started recording this. And you know what? If you're local and you've never done that, you should.
Yeah,
you should do it.
It is fun, especially now at Christmas with the Christmas lights. Because if you wait around, the last 2 trips, it's dark. and you can see the Christmas lights.
Oh, right. That's
And
a great
We can
idea.
probably get the 14 people to listen to this podcast all together and sing Christmas carols.
And one of the nice things that you do as you go through the neighborhoods and you go through town is you kind of point out things and point out different things of interest or whatever to the people who don't know, which I actually learned a couple things myself, and I'm a local guy.
Yeah, the garden that the water department planted for the Xeriscape, very, very nice.
Yeah, well, it's a great way to kind of experience our little town. So I tell you what, if you're local, or if you're not a local, take the tour on the electric shuttle because it's a great way to get around. And Jim, I just want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me a little bit.
Yeah, I enjoyed the ride, your company, and the riding around.
Well, I want to get to know Carpinteria a little bit better, and one of the best ways to do it is to meet and get to know the people who we interact with on a regular basis here in Carpinteria, and the electric shuttle is definitely one of those things. So thank you very much.
Thank you.